My entire life, I've heard the old adage that a person should do what they love so they never work a day in their life. Does that mean the opposite is true? If so, then I'm the hardest working man this town has ever seen. The mirror mocks me. Hollow eyes reflect broken dreams. A round body reflects, well, that I enjoy my meals. It's the small things, really. I throw on my shirt, pants, shoes, belt, and shuffle to my car. The 10-minute drive feels like an eternity. Eternity, I think. What a concept. I'll leave the abstract thinking to those without day jobs. There, squeezed in a small complex, was my place of business. My haven, my refuge, I park and walk inside. The time clock dinged. Jack! Hey, man. Ready for another wonderful day? Optimism disgusts me. Ready as always, was my monotone reply. I forced a smile, but inwardly my spirit sneered and churned with annoyance. It's all about perception, or, as a wise man's once told me, fake it till you make it. That wise man actually got fired last week. Now that I remember. Damn. He was decent, too. Another voice rings from behind as I'm equipping my name tag and radio. This time it's gruff in tone. Jack, my office, now. I hold back a sigh and about face to the general manager's office. My boss. Look, Jack, I realize being management holds enormous responsibility. I believe he meant to say assistant management. Either way, the condescension was dripping with every word. But your performance last night was, quite frankly, piss poor. Well, we're terribly understaffed and can only get so much done with people we have. I realized my mistake in trying to reason with the man after I finished the sentence. I could already hear there's no reasoning here, only excuses. Don't make excuses, you have to delegate your people better. Blah, blah, blah. People? He leans back in his swivel chair and laughs. Don't make excuses. You just have to delegate your people better. Right on the money. Next, I figured he would rant about his days only stalking with 2 people and getting twice the work done. Look, Jack, back when I was assistant manager, we didn't have all this help. Hell, I was lucky to have any help at all. At this rate, I feel I should be a psychic. I nod, say thank you, and leave the office to go begin work. My face had to have been red. The anger rose to the surface like a flood, making my entire body feel hot. 9 hours drags on. Another eternity, I think again. There's that word. Forever stuck in this menial, cyclic existence of suffering. That's really all I can say about working in a grocery store. Characters of all makes and models stumble in here day and night. Mostly at night, though, and right before closing. I clock out and leave as fast as my now swollen feet will let me, making sure all of my mid-teen stock crew make it back to their cars. So much life in front of them, so much time to realize everything is terrible. The steady rise in blood pressure through the night leaves me with a splitting migraine. In my car, I sigh again. The midnight darkness of the city resembles more of a dimly lit room with dull streetlights flickering through the light fog. Even still, I see the golden arches beckoning me through the late night. I guess early morning. This would make 23 days of post-work fast food. My goal is 30. Some nuggets would hit the spot. It really is the small things. After getting home and realizing they forgot my sauce, I cozy up in a blanket and find solace in a combination of games and random YouTube videos until I pass out. Sweet surrender into darkness. The alarm goes off again, and the day repeats itself. This time, I barely wake up to make it to work by 3:30. I feel even worse today, if such a thing were even possible. My aforementioned headache still pounds behind my eyes in a dull throb with every heartbeat. I drive, clock in, and start working. Business as usual. With every step through the aisles, my head pounds in unison. The 3 ibuprofen barely scratch the pain, and the open case of cans I carry feel like a ton. I drop to one knee and begin throwing them on the shelf. So focused on not falling over, I fail to see a valued guest standing by, waving a yellow ticket in her hand.
"Excuse me, sir, but I've been coming here every day for 2 weeks, and you still don't have the soda I like. I even have the rain check from last time."
She furiously waves the ticket in my face. Biting my tongue and reeling in my latent rage, I smile.
"Fake it till you make it, Jack."
"What kind, ma'am?"
"The diet, caffeine-free 12-packs. You're running a sale, and there is never any."
I don't know why I even bother explaining anything. At this point, my head is pounding so hard, even my own voice sounds more distant. "Well, those come through a vendor, ma'am. We have little control over—" She stops me.
"I need to speak to a manager."
"Ma'am, I am the manager." I almost say assistant, but realized the hole was deep enough. No need to keep digging. Her voice rose several octaves.
"A higher up?"
"I'm all that's here right now."
I cannot
believe this. I was about to ask if she wanted another rain check, but instead she puts her finger in my face and silences me before I can speak.
"I am never shopping here again."
She leaves her cart and storms out. My face becomes visibly red as sweat breaks out all over my body. I leave my case of beans on the floor and barely stand. The store becomes blurry, then snaps back into focus. My chest suddenly starts getting tighter as sweat pours from my armpits and forehead. Tighter than I've ever felt it before, followed by a crushing weight like the traditional elephant on the chest.
"Oh, Christ," I whisper to myself. "I'm having a heart attack."
Voices from other employees and customers were frantic and calling for help. I can only imagine what they thought. I probably looked like a sweaty red balloon. Everything slowed down, and all sound became muffled except for the final thumps of my heart and the intense ringing in my ears. Thump, thump. It stopped. Then my legs buckled. "Is this what death feels like?" I say aloud, not realizing it came out as a murmur. Despite this, I smiled. For the first time in years, I felt true joy. The sweet, sweet embrace of death had finally come. All pain left my body. All worry faded like smoke. The screams muffled and the floor sped towards me as everything faded to black. I accepted death's arrival like a visit from a long-awaited friend. But I was still standing, or at least I thought I was. I looked down to see the EMTs working on my body, with a routine "clear" and jolt from my unconscious body. A crowd had formed around to see today's sideshow that would make a few people social media famous for a few minutes. In vain they tried reviving my physical form. Again, I smiled and yelled back in a silent scream, "Not today!" I was free. For the first time, baby, and you better believe I'm going to enjoy this. I walk. No, float. Honestly, I don't know. But I made it for the front door, going past the general manager rushing in. He looked annoyed. I guess I'll have to stay and close the store tonight, poor guy. The doors were wide open. I could see it. The bright light of day. Freedom. My smile broadened as I sped on as fast as my ghostly form would allow. Free. I'm finally free. Then something stopped me. No, it wasn't voluntary, but it was like hitting a wall. I thought ghosts go through walls, though. But wait, there's nothing visibly stopping me. I tried again and again, but an invisible force prevented me from leaving the wide-open sliding doors. Panic, or whatever emotion I felt, started to set in. So I whipped around and looked for another exit. The back door, I thought. Zip! There I went, flying on the ceiling into the back room. The emergency door was open. My lucky day. Again I slammed into the open doorway. Again and again I threw myself into the opening. Why can't I leave? Why wouldn't it let me? I stopped. It was recently, while falling down the rabbit hole of YouTube, that I came across a supernatural video. I've never been a big believer in such things. Call me a skeptic. The memory was faint, but with my corporeal hindrances stripped away, my thinking became clearer than ever. I turned and zigzagged back to the store until the full scope of what the video said came back to me in full force like a freight train, sending shockwaves of despair through my wispy form. "Spirits of the deceased," I quoted to myself, especially in case of traumatic deaths, tend to become trapped where they die.